What's up YouTube, Dell here from Zephyr, and today I am bringing you another favourite of mine and an update post-Alliance insight. Today is the turn of Cyber Dragon. So that's right, Cyber Dragon actually got some really nice new support, mainly in the form of two cards, one of them being Cyber Yugioh and one of them being a brand new Cyber Dark monster, which just increases your consistency to make your plays and even go first. I've designed this deck to be an OTK focused version, as that's kind of the way I prefer to play Cyber Dragon, but you can adapt it as you see fit, and I'll talk you through the cards that are predominantly there for going second and the cards you can kind of sub them out for in return if you wanted to focus on going first a little bit more. So with all of that out of the way, please smash that like button, hit that notification bell and subscribe so you miss out on any more upcoming content. Starting off with, of course, Cyber Dragon Core. So this is your ideal starter for the deck. Another starter of the deck off the back of this will be your Cyber, once I get it, Cyber Dark Chimera, but you're only going to be playing this at 1. The idea is you want to get to Core. Core will then work you into your Chimera and then build you on from there. As it is a Cyber Dragon deck, we are going to be playing 3 Cyber Dragons, and the idea is this is the card you want for going second. You combo this off with a Clockwork Knight, you pretty much clear, no matter what your opponent's field is, will clear all of their monsters. Then we do have 2 Hers and 1 Nashta, just to kind of round up the Cyber Dragon monsters themselves before we start moving into the other Cyber monsters. Now the first one I'm playing 3 of is the brand new Cyber Yugioh. Now you don't have to play 3 of this, I just really quite like the idea of hard opening it if I'm going to be predominantly going second and then going from there. So it can't be normal summon to set, it must be special summoned by card effect. If your opponent controls a monster, you get to special summon this card from the hand, and then take a Cyber Dragon from the deck and either special summon it or equip it to this card as an equip spell. You can't special summon for the rest of the turn except machine monsters, which is absolutely fine. You can return 1 Cyber Dragon you control to the hand to add a polymerization from the deck or grave to the hand. You can use each effect once per turn. The idea is that going second, if I don't see Cyber Dragon, I can special summon this down. The other benefit of this one is as long as your opponent controls a monster. Unlike Cyber Dragon where your opponent needs to control a monster and you control no monsters, this one just says if your opponent controls a monster. So if I kaiju them, I can still utilize Yugioh. It means I can also special summon down Cyber Dragon and then special summon down Cyber Yugioh, giving me 3 level 5s on the field, working my way easily into a Nova and an Infinity so that I can just absorb that kaiju I've given my opponent without even needing to run over it. Then for the Cyber Darks, we've got the 1 Chimera, 1 of the brand new Cyber Dark Worm. So this card name becomes Cyber Dragon while on the field or in the graveyard. If this card is in the hand or graveyard and you have another machine Cyber monster in your field or graveyard, you get to send a Cyber Dragon monster from the hand or deck to the graveyard to special summon this card, and then you get to add a Cyber spell or trap from the graveyard to the hand. Now that's going to be really, really important to recycle your Cyber Dark Realm so that you then have a spell or trap to be discarded from your Cyber Dark Chimera to grab you access to a Power Bond. The other Cyber Dark card that we play is the 1 Claw. Now, the reason I'm playing this is I couldn't find my 3rd copy of Cyber Dark Realm, and if all honesty, if I had the 3rd copy, I probably would be maxing out on the Cyber Dark Realm. But the other is that Claw gives you the ability to discard it to add a Cyber Dark spell trap from the deck, so that's just going to give you more access to the realm. But this one runs into draw a lot more, so I'd much rather swap this out for a 3rd realm, and then at least you're increasing your spell count as well for consistency of discards off the Chimera. So Realm, of course, will allow you to add a Cyber Dark monster from the deck to the hand, so you can grab the worm if you want to, but more times than not, you're going to go for the Chimera. And then you get to use the effect during the main phase to immediately after the effect resolves normal summon a Cyber Dark, being the Chimera, and then you move your plays on from there. We are then playing 2 Limiter Removal as we are playing the OTK version, and this is one of the very cool alternate artworks that I think really matches the theme of its deck. So being able to have the Cyber Dragon artwork and the Limiter Removal on the field works out really, really cool. Then for the final kaiju that we are playing, or the final monster that we are playing before the negate, is of course triple Jizakuru, the Star Destroying Kaiju. Like I said, this deck is built for going second OTK, so the Jizakuru is there to deal with the card that is going to give you the biggest issue. So if you're looking at something like the Malice matchup, you'll probably get rid of the Allied Code Talker. If you're looking at a Ryziel matchup, you're probably going to be getting rid of the Detonator. And then whatever other matchup you may be facing, you can pretty much target their main issue card, get rid of it, so you can build your plays in order to get the Clockwork Knight play going and then completely contact fuse off your opponent's entire field. We've then got the 1 Fearinkin Regulus. You don't have to play this. This is the 41st card of the entire deck. The idea is just through the grind, if my opponent is constantly interacting with me, if I'm getting a machine monster to the graveyard very easily, I can summon down a Regulus. I'm protected from the Biru. It's still a 2800 beta on the field as well and allows you to push for an OTK even more consistently. Then we do have 3 Cyber Emergency. The argument behind Cyber Emergency is technically this is where you could cut down your Yugioh, but what I quite like to see is you go, okay, well if I hard open up a Yugioh, it means my Cyber Emergency can then be anything I want it to be rather than me trying to go directly for a Yugioh. So that's kind of why I've decided to go 3 and 3. Then got 1 Plant, 1 Power Bond, 1 Clockwork Knight now. You can play this at 3 for consistency because now in this particular version what's going to happen is if they stop your Clockwork Knight, get into the Clockwork Knight, then of course you aren't going to have direct access to this unless you hard open it. The benefit is if you're starting your combo off with the Cyber Dark Realm, which is your ideal starter that you want to be going for, you start for the Cyber Dark Realm, you've got a continuous spell card that your Clockwork Knight can send to grab you the Clockwork Knight. Why could they? I go what they were going with, like a K Knight and then an N Knight, but damn. As we are still OTK version, we are playing free duality. You'll see all of the targets in the extra deck for your duality, but even with Yugioh now being another level 5 light, this is when you're going to get even more off the back of duality because you can activate it to turn a Cyber Dragon into a Chimera Tech Rampage Dragon, and then you still have the ability to work your way into a Nova and Infinity, which is really, really helpful. So this one, as a quick event, lets you tribute a light or dark monster to special summon a light or dark monster of the other attribute of what you tributed from the hand or extra deck, but a different original attribute. So during your main phase, you get to banish this card as well from the graveyard to then target a light and a dark monster in the graveyard, shuffle both into the deck and draw 1 card. You can use each effect once per turn. So you get a bit of draw capabilities, especially when you're using the Cyber Dark cards. And then you've got your lights for your Cyber Dragons. And then when you get to some of your extra deck cards, whether it be Fortress, whether it be Chimera Tech, they've got 10s and 8s that can kind of tag out into themselves. So during the battle phase, you just get that additional push, which helps increase the OTK capabilities. And the benefit is, if you were to go battle phase, and then you activated something like your limiter removal, and then you were to duality that card into a different target, then that limiter removal wouldn't destroy the new target you've presented to the field. Then for the hand trap / field breakers, I've gone for the most oppressive go second ones, which is why we are main decking the Molchami Fluoros, because if you go second, which is what you're going to be doing with this deck, opening up a card like this is just going to either make your opponent just pass their turn, or you're going to be able to draw it into as much advantage as possible. Then got Forbidden Droplet at 3 because being able to reduce attack during damage deck can be very, very important. And it also gives you that ability to kind of bait out interactions as well as then clearing the field off. For example, normal summon Cyber Dragon Core, attempt to use the effect to search out or even go for the Cyber Dark Chimera, and your opponent goes Imperm. You can go Chain Droplet, clear your field off, search out the card still, and then you still have a clear field to go, cool, special summon down Cyber Dragon, off we go. The last one that I'm main decking is the Ultimate Slayer because the extra deck is very, very flexible, so you've got a lot of targets for this one. And this is one of the most powerful like go second cards because it doesn't put a monster on your field, and in turn what you're able to do is most of the targets you're able to send are either going to net you a draw or they're going to net you the ability to destroy 2 cards, which is going to be very, very helpful. So that's it for the entire main deck. Now to move on to the extra deck. So, starting with the extra deck of our Cyber Dragon monsters, we've got the Chimera Tech Mega Fleet Dragon. So again, special summon down Cyber Dragon. If your opponent does not interact with it, you can contact fuse your opponent's allied code talker straight off into the Mega Fleet Dragon. The counterpart to the Mega Fleet Dragon that you can use your duality for is to get into your Cyber End Dragon, which is the best thing about it. A fusion summon this card can only be done with the above fusion monsters, and it can attack a defense position monster. Now, the fact of the matter is you're not fusion summoning this card, you are special summoning it, so you get to bypass that little restriction, and it basically just lets you do piercing battle damage. Then for the 8s, of course, you've got your Chimera Tech Fortress Dragon. So this one, you're ideally pushing to contact fuse with your opponent's entire field. And if you do, and you still need that additional attack off, you can go into your duality, as this is a Dark level 8, to go into a Cyber Twin Dragon. And then this one as well will also then allow you to attack twice during the battle phase. Then for your ideal one that you're going to be going into more times than not will of course be your Chimera Tech Rampage Dragon. So you can make this with Power Bond, and you can also make your Cyber End Dragon with Power Bond and everything else in between. So keeping in mind you have more consistent ways to do that. But then your Rampage Dragon also gives you the ability to send those Cyber Dragon materials you might need. And keeping in mind only a fusion summon of this will trigger stuff, but you get the ability to still, so it's when it's fusion summoned, is the ability to target spells and traps onto the field. And then once per turn, you get to send up to 2 lights. So it doesn't need to be fusion summoned to do that, but it also gains the additional attack during the battle phase when you're doing that ability, which is really kind of cool. And then, of course, we have the Nova and Infinity with the 1 Clockwork Knight and, of course, the 1 Cyber Dragon Soiga. Then for the targets you're going to be sending off your Ultimate Slayer, we do play the 1 Tri-Brigade Link 5, which will basically allow you to send the Garura. So if your opponent is on Link monsters, again, Ally Code Talker, you send this, get rid of the Ally Code Talker, you send the Garura off of the back of the second effect of your Tri-Brigade and get yourself a draw. You've got them along for the synchro plays if that comes up. If you have no synchros in your environment at all, take this out at any particular target you feel is more accessible. Eldritch Entity ints directly for fusion monsters to then destroy another card. And then, of course, you've got your Metalogic Aggregator for your XYZs. So it's all pretty standard on that one. You're covering all bases with your Ultimate Slayer. You are designed to go second. It's when you're going first that's when your side deck cards kind of come into play. But I feel in this current game, it's very weird, or it'll be very, very... It would take a very specific opponent to to lose game 1 and be shocked that you've gone second and then decide to let you go first. They must have huge confidence in being able to stop your go first field build. There we go. And then if they're able to do that, then of course that's when you get to start to choose who goes first or second, and that's when you can kind of catch them off guard and go main decking stuff like, or side in stuff like Solemn Strike, Solemn Judgment. You can go for Triple Tactics Thrust and then go for the counter trap cards. So I'll just show you a quick demo side deck for one of my other decks. But the idea is you could play stuff like Lightning Storms, Different Dimension Grounds, Triple Tactic Talents, obviously Artifact Lanciers, Fantastical Dragon Phantasmes, Triple Tactic Talents, Harpy's Feather Duster. You've just got loads of different options, Artifact Sanctum. So there are some very generic options you can use for your side deck if you wanted to. And I didn't want to kind of bog you down with all of those because that'll all get changed, adapted on your environment. But the idea is that this deck is really, really fun, very, very aggressive. Not many people are going to be expecting this particular version of the deck being as out aggressive as it is. But I just really do like the 2 new additions to the deck. I think the Yugioh is quite slept on. I think a lot of players are choosing to play it at 1, which I understand if you're trying to play the deck as a go first option. But as we are playing this as a go second option and we want to be as aggressive as we possibly can, you might as well max out on it and get the most from it. Anyway, I hope this has helped. If you do have any questions on your own build, then by all means, please let me know in the comments down below. I'll be more than happy to help you out. But this is just something like a nice little fun update that I haven't done for a while. I checked when I did the last OTK version of Cyber Dragon, and it was like February of 2024, which is wild to think that we're over a year ago I did that. So this definitely deserved an update. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Do to like, comment, subscribe, share. Till next time, as absolutely always, stay safe, and of course, happy dueling.